What up, peeps? Mr. Bones back at you, and it's day 28 of 31 nights of full moon. And if you've been following my series here, and you know full moon, you must have known it's been about time to start these movies. The Puppet Master Collection. It's when you think of full moon, you think Puppet Master. Puppet Master is what they would call the flagship series of full moon. Just like when you think of Trauma, you would think Toxic Avenger. So yeah, Puppet Master 1. A demonic crew of puppets unleashed their murderous talents on psychics investigating their owner, Andre Toulon. The first one's kind of hard to follow. There's so much shit going on, but it starts off with Andre Toulon at the Bodega Bay Inn, Bodega Bay Hotel, and you got this POV shit going on. You hear a lot of deep breathing and running around, a little something short running around. It's Blade, this guy, running around and bumping into shit and running up the stairs, and he's running up to tell Toulon that these two Nazis are coming to get him. So he puts Blade in the suitcase, the trunk, with the rest of them, and hides them in the wall, sits down on a chair, and blows his brains out. Because I guess the Nazis are coming to make him reveal all the secrets that he knows on how to reanimate puppets and such. And then flash forward present time, and you got this weird shit going on with a bunch of psychics. There's about 6 of them or something. They all get some kind of message from one of the other ones. Kind of reminds me of Dreamcatcher, Stephen King's Dreamcatcher, where they can talk to each other. And they all meet up at the Bodega Bay to try to figure out Toulon's secrets, as in everybody else wants to figure out. And it also kind of reminds me of Stephen King's Rose Red, where a bunch of psychics go to a haunted house, a mansion, to awaken spirits and shit, because that's a great idea, right? And they slowly start getting picked off one by one by the puppets. And then the guy who sent them all the messages is one of them. When they first got there, they find out he's dead. His wife's there. It's like, oh yeah, he died. And then they stay there overnight, and then all of a sudden, toward the end of the movie, pops back up, oh yeah, I'm alive. He had found Toulon's trunk, where he had hid it in the wall and learned his secrets, and thought for some reason that he would kill himself and bring himself back to life. And yeah, it's confusing. I love the movie for the awesome puppets and the deaths and the kills. The second one's interesting and more enjoyable for me. You got let's see, Toulon's army of assassin puppets exhume their beloved creator to gather the brain matter that keeps them alive. But the Puppet Master has a deadly plan of his own. Again, you got a group of people that are at this hotel again for some reason. I don't know why. They're there like acting like paranormal investigators or something. Got a computer hooked up, cameras, and it starts off with the puppets pouring this green shit down in Toulon's grave. And his hand dries, and he comes back. And so this person randomly shows up where these people are, just walks in the door, and it kind of looks like, reminds me of the Dark Man from that movie. He's got these gauze and wraps wrapped around him. He's wearing a fedora and a black coat, and he introduces himself. Somebody, I can't remember what he calls himself, but it's Andre Toulon. Said they thought the place was deserted. No, I've lived here for many years, and I forgot what he called himself, but it's actually Andre. And give them permission to stay there and do whatever they're doing. and they start getting picked off slowly by the puppets. And by the end of it, Toulon decides to put that he has these. There's this big reveal at the end. It's pretty weird. He has these two mannequin-sized puppets or whatever, and he decides to put himself in the male version. He decided he wants to be a puppet. Puts the serum down there and then slices his throat above the mannequin, and his blood goes down in it, and then ta-da! It's me, Andre Toulon, in a puppet form. And as he has a woman kidnapped that he thinks looks like his late wife, and I guess he wants to put her in the female one. And then for some reason, even though the puppets have been helping him the whole time, they decide to turn on him and start busting him up, and this embalming fluid type shit and green shit starts pouring out of him. Then it has a really weird ending with the puppets with seatbelts on them in a van driving off with this female adult-sized puppet that looks all freaky, driving them down the road. And I guess it's his late wife, and I don't know how she got in there, whatever. The third one I really enjoy. It says, after Toulon escapes a kidnapping attempt that killed his wife, he exacts revenge with six-shooter, blade, and leech woman, a new army of many murderers. And 3 is like a prequel, and it tells the backstory. The first couple have there's a puppet leech woman. I like her, and actually she gets killed in the second one because they're at this little farmhouse trying to kill this old man and woman, and she throws this leech woman into a stove. But this one has her story. Andre Toulon is just a puppet, a marionette person, I don't know what you call him. He does these shows for children, him and his wife, that he can, bring them back. They're actually alive, but he's at a show, he's doing a show, and he's got a group of children sitting there watching, but there's a guy in the back who's not a child, he's an adult, and he's an asshole, and he goes, after the show, goes and introduces himself to Andre Toulon in his room, and I am a fellow puppeteer, blah blah blah, lying his ass off, and he keeps trying to pick up the puppets and aggravate, and then he leaves, but he goes and listens to the window outside and takes pictures and goes and tells a bunch of Nazis about Andre and his secret and what he could do. So then they come back to kidnap him and make him go to their place to tell him whatever or work for him and do evil shit, I don't know, and they end up killing his wife. And once he escapes, he goes back and he puts his wife in a doll that he had given her in the past, and then you get Leech Woman, which has Miss Toulon's soul in it, and she can spit leeches. She spits leeches on her enemy. The puppets are awesome. I like her, and then you got Blade. You got Tunneler, who, drills the living shit out of you. There's no other pictures on this set, but you got Pinhead. He's got a tiny head, but a big body and big old fists. And you got the Jester. It's a jester, a clown, and his face rotates and changes his expressions. And you got Six-Shooter, who has 6 arms and pistols, and cracks me up. He's always going, But yeah, the movie, this one is pretty much Andre Toulon and his puppets versus the Nazis. After they kill his wife, he goes and slowly starts killing all them off with the puppets. The first kill is awesome. He takes Six-Shooter to where one of the main guys is, and Six-Shooter scales the wall, and he looks like a spider running up the wall. He goes in there and goes, and shoots off his gun and kills the dude. And that's just the first kill, and the whole thing is them killing them all off. And it's pretty awesome. And I'll be back tomorrow with talking about some more of these. There's like 12 of them. Peace.